goodness. AEW in Chicago! Did we have an energetic Chicago crowd for what is the home base of AEW? It's their home away from home. Did we get that excitement that Chicago usually brings to any professional wrestling that enters its city? Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, with the start of the Continental Classic, I can confidently say that Chicago did not give a shit. I don't know what else to tell you, man. It is very apparent that these crowds are as lifeless as anything I have ever witnessed. But Tony put on banger matches, man. He put on banger matches tonight. Oh, man, I can't wait. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go over this week's Continental Classic as it has begun. Outside that, not much else happened tonight. Jesse's home cooking the turkey. He didn't want to be here tonight to spend Thanksgiving Eve with us, so we're drinking alone tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, when I get to the venue, I want to know on this Wednesday night, what the fuck are you guys drinking? I'll take a double. I'll see you over there.
Why has Triple H been so successful? Why is Triple H running WWE better than Vince McMahon and Bruce Pritchard on Monday and Friday night? Long-term booking.
What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. This is your AEW Dynamite post show for Thanksgiving Eve, November 27, 2024. I am your host, JD from New York, as always, coming to you live from the OTS venue inside my mother's basement. Thank you guys so very much for joining me on your Wednesday evenings, wherever you may be. my goodness, man. We are starting off big. My guy, Ian Thunder, with a $100 super chat. This guy couldn't wait to get into the venue and drop a big bomb right at the bar, man. He's ordering drinks for everybody. He says, and I quote, "What the hell happened to this company? Another boring-ass episode of Dynamite. They ate. Coming to Kansas City in 2 weeks." And I think you meant they are. They ate. Nobody ate tonight. It was a fucking bore fest. Coming to Kansas City in 2 weeks, and I'm a pass. T-Mobile Center is half tarped off, and show will be a guaranteed snooze fest. I have no hope for this company anymore. I mean, Ian, with the comment of the night already, we didn't even begin. You may be asking everybody in the chat, where's Jesse? Where's the Shot-Town Smart? Jesse's wife has pneumonia, and Jesse needs to do the brunt of the preparation for Thanksgiving tomorrow, so we wish Jesse's wife and the family all the best during this holiday season. Jesse will resume our duties next week, and the Collision Corner will return next week, as always, right here on the Dynamite Post Show on Off the Script. Dynamite, man. Where do I begin? Where do I begin? You know, one thing is kind of circling around in my big brain, man, my big wrestling brain. One thing is for certain. Normally, Tony Khan is allergic. This man is absolutely allergic. You know how people are allergic to cat fur and cat dander, and that's the reason they don't have cats, or they're allergic to peanuts, or they're allergic to whatever it may be. Tony is allergic to long-term booking. Tony is allergic to creative dialogue that pushes stories from week to week to week to week. We all know this. This guy hears the word story. This guy sees the word story spelt out on a notepad in the creative boardroom for AEW with him and Will Robinson over there. This guy sees the word story and he runs and hides, fearing for his life, does Tony Khan. The Continental Classic was grade A television last year because it was the first of its kind for AEW. It was fresh. It was new. It was his spin. It was his take on the New Japan tournament that everybody loves, man, that I wish more American-based promotions would emulate the G1 Climax. We all know Tony is big on the New Japan mentality. This man is probably smiling from ear to ear. This man knows that this holiday season he can take the next 4 or 5 weeks off and not really have to tell any story because the tournament itself is nothing more than Tony Khan's wet dream. This guy gets to book dream matches with 12 of the company's best in AEW with no rhyme or reason, with no effort. This guy just comes up with his fantasy matches, 6 men on one side, 6 men on the other, and he comes up with these banger matches that don't have any real long storyline progression or no real long-term aspect to them. He puts them out on TV. We get 2 hours of Dynamite. We get 2 hours of Collision. Rinse and repeat over the next 4 or 5 weeks. So much so that this man physically changed the rules of the Continental Classic this week so that it would ensure him even more banger matches and less on story. Tony's favorite time of the year, man. He doesn't have to do a fucking thing. He just throws random names out on television and we get random matches on television with a point system behind it and everybody eats it up like it's the best thing in all of pro wrestling. I was not all that enthused after watching 2 hours of Dynamite tonight, man, especially being in Chicago Chicago and the market of Chicago is rabid. It is hot. No matter what you do in Chicago when it comes to pro wrestling, it is always an energetic, lively experience. AEW barely could sell 3,000 tickets to this show. Barely. And AEW is ice cold at the moment. I think everybody with a fucking brain and eyeballs and ears could feel it, could hear it, could see it. AEW in the Chicago market used to be as boisterous, as loud, as noisy as anything in the pro wrestling sphere. Tonight, this crowd could not be bothered to give a single shit about anything that happened in that ring. We got some spot noises here and there, and we got spot ovations here and there, and a little clap here, and a little clap there, and a little clap everywhere. Turn yourself around, do the hokey pokey, and write some fucking great creative, man. There was a point in the show where Brody King knocked out all the electricity or the feed to the sound on the commentary desk. And for 90 seconds, there was no commentary in the main event between Brody King and Darby Allin. No commentary gave way to, you could hear a fucking pin drop in the arena. That's how quiet it was. And that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Coming out of a pay-per-view that was lackluster. Coming out of a pay-per-view that was probably the worst pay-per-view that they've done all year. One of the top 5 worst pay-per-views that they've done in 5 years. AEW followed this up with banger matches. Now, I'm not here to shit on the Continental Classic. I'm not. I'm not here to shit on the Continental Classic because I actually love the Continental Classic. I was a big advocate for the Continental Classic last year. I was. So much so that people got on my case for liking it. I love the Continental Classic concept. I would change a thing here and a thing there. I would not have 4 or 5 repeats in the tournament this year that were in last year's tournament. But the life of this show, the energy of this show, when you watch for 2 hours, when you're sitting at home, it fucking kills any desire to want to talk about pro wrestling, to care about pro wrestling, to review pro wrestling like we do. It is ice cold. And the fact that they're in Chicago and the energy levels were so low as they were tonight, Tony Khan and AEW should be fucking embarrassed. They should. And everybody is already making excuses for the low attendance. They're making excuses for the low energy. They're making excuses for AEW going to Suncorp Stadium and thinking that they could fill 40,000 people in a 52,000 seat stadium, only for them to have a colossal failure staring them in the face, and the fact that they now have to move to a convention center and only fill 13,000 people. They aren't anywhere where they need to be making those decisions, and they aren't anywhere where they need to be so lackadaisical and so effortless and so lazy with some of the decisions that they're making on television. The energy of this show fucking kills it. If the energy was where it needed to be, it wouldn't be as bad. But there's a reason why the crowds, there's a reason why the audience, there's a reason why everything is down. There's a reason why nobody is making any type of excitement towards AEW. There's a reason why their numbers are down. There's a reason why the ratings are down. There's a reason why the metrics are down across the board. And I don't know how many times I have to tell you. You are giving people nothing to invest in. Zero. A tournament filled with 12 great pro wrestlers is a great concept for 4 weeks out of 52. I'm sure the ratings and the interest are going to be higher now over the next 4 or 5 weeks than they are in the middle of the summer when people rather be out and about and enjoying life and enjoying the nice weather than compared to now where people are home and family is over and people are gathered around the TV and you got a drink in your hand and you got food on the table tomorrow for Thanksgiving. It is a yearly tradition that will be in AEW as long as they are on TV. But the interest coming into the Continental Classic this year compared to the Continental Classic last year, it's night and day. It is not what it was last year. AEW is not what it was last year. It wasn't this bad last year. It was, but this is the worst year ever. It wasn't as bad in 2023. It wasn't bad in 2022. They were actually the hottest that they've ever been. Downward spiral. And they've never recovered. It's going to take more than a 12-man tournament for a championship that largely is fucking irrelevant to get people back on board for AEW. And in Chicago, of all places, where you expect the loudest your audience to be, this place came off like they were in fucking bumblefuck middle of nowhere, Missouri. Couldn't be bothered to give a shit. Don't know what we need to do. As for the Continental Classic itself, we're going to go over the matches that we had tonight. Matches were fun. Not here to say the matches weren't good, but the energy to the matches just wasn't really where it needed to be. The Jon Moxley situation. Darby Allin ended the show on Saturday night. Speeding vehicle, ramming his car into the Death Rider's SUV. Do you think that AEW started the show off this week with a mention of Darby Allin, his injuries, his potential fucking vehicular homicide attempt? Could have killed anybody else that was standing in and around the area. Could have killed himself. Do you think we got an update on Darby Allin? Do you think AEW started the show off with their biggest storyline in the company? Jon Moxley taking over AEW. They couldn't even be bothered to start their show off with their biggest storyline in the entire company. We go right to banger matches. We go right into the Continental Classic. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that when one show ends and you give us a cliffhanger, then the next show, the very next show, should start the way the last show ended. The fact that you did not mention Jon Moxley and Darby Allin until 9 p.m. and we didn't see Jon Moxley till 9 p.m. How do you want me to sit there and invest in this storyline if the last thing that we saw isn't talked about until 1 hour into the follow-up show on Wednesday? Does that make any logistical sense to you? It's like this company is bred and born to do things and do everything backwards. Does nobody read the lines? Does nobody read the transcript or the script backstage? Does nobody stand up and raise their hand? Mr. Khan, what about so-and-so ending the show on Saturday? How about we do what we did on Saturday, the way we ended it? We talk about that at the top. Nothing. No, we'll just give banger matches. Because that's what everybody expects out of us, banger matches. Story is dead. After weeks and weeks and weeks of AEW making mistakes and dropping the ball and not really caring about it and caring for it in an important manner, AEW has constantly dropped the ball on what is most important. Even when they have a story on television that they're desperately trying to see play out, they still avoid making it a top priority on the show and give way to banger matches. How do you expect the viewer to care about story when the first thing that you do is not give us the story? I don't really understand it. No, but it's for the sickos. We'll get to it when we get to it. Fine. And I have every right to sit here and tell you, I'm fucking over it, man. I have absolutely zero patience left. Don't give a fuck who joins the Death Riders. I don't give a shit who they battle. I don't give a shit who goes after the world title. I don't give a shit about anything Death Riders related. I don't. Story is so far gone already after 2 months that I don't care for the middle and I don't care for the end. And Darby Allin, who everybody is predicting to be the savior of AEW here with him taking down Jon Moxley, because we saw him at Saturday's Full Gear at the end of the show where he was maniacally screaming at Jon Moxley as they drove away as he's frantically beating the vehicle with his skateboard. Guy lost to Claudio. Guy looked like a fucking idiot, smashing his vehicle into the Death Riders' vehicle and basically doing nothing to harm them because they got away in another vehicle. He basically almost killed himself for absolutely no reason. Those two things paired with tonight, he lost clean and got his ass beat by Brody King. Now you want me to believe in Darby Allin. That's 3 strikes and you're out. Go sit on the bench and warm that bench for somebody else. Darby Allin is a lost cause. I don't want to hear Darby Allin's name at all in regards to him beating Jon Moxley for the World Championship. I don't. At this point, I don't believe it. There was a sliver of a chance where I did believe it, and I was behind the decision. Guy's a fucking loser like everybody else. The only thing that makes him cool is that he's a fucking stuntman and he throws himself around making everything look worse than it really is. It's going to take more than that to make me believe in Darby Allin and the fact that Darby Allin is the next Sting against Jon Moxley's NWO. What a waste of my fucking time. Adam Page was on the show tonight. Jay White was on the show tonight. Solomonster and I discussed the ending of Full Gear on Tuesday Night Titans last night, and he made some really, really good points like he usually does. We're going to go over what happened with Adam Page and Jay White because tonight, Adam Page let everybody know exactly what happened at the end of AEW Full Gear and why he and Jay White were out there with Christian Cage looking to take the title away from Jon Moxley. So we're going to go over all that. We got Mariah May and Mina Shirakawa. They had another incident on Dynamite tonight. And obviously, like I said, the Continental Classic, we will go over that. And how could I forget Camille? She quit and is no longer Mercedes Monet's bodyguard. Oh, my goodness, man. You talk about dropping the ball. Holy shit. 3 months in, and this woman is dead. And her career will never be recovered in AEW. Nobody could be bothered to give a single flying fuck. We got a lot to talk about, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, I am sorry that Jesse is not here with you guys tonight. We wish Jesse the best. His wife, Kristen, has pneumonia. And Thanksgiving is tomorrow. So the stress in the household for Jesse is right now at peak levels. He will be back with us next week. So, unfortunately, you guys got me all by yourself, which is not that bad. It's the way things usually are. Follow me on social media, man, at JD from NY206. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Did I forget about Jericho and Ishii? Oh, no, we didn't, folks. We didn't forget about Jericho and Ishii, man. We didn't forget about it. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. If you guys, this is important. If you guys are watching after the fact and not watching me live right now, and you guys are watching me in the comment section, I'm going to need you to leave a comment, man. Let me know what you thought of Dynamite. Let me know what you thought of the Continental Classic, the start of the Continental Classic. Let me know what you think of Camille and Mercedes, or anything, man. Let me know what you're doing for Thanksgiving. Leave me your favorite emoji. Tell me why you think GCW is a outlaw mud show, piece of shit, degenerate promotion that fails to take accountability for what they did. With AEW mentioning Tony Khan and Shad Khan. Comments go a long way, man. Super chats are open. Get them on in. Thanks to Ian Thunder with a $100 super chat. Let's get those super chats up, man. Let's close the month out. It's the last week of the month. Come on. Get them up. We'll hang out and drink a little of our adult beverages at the end of the show. We uploaded a near 1 hour extra today on the Ricky Starks, GCW, Tony Khan, Chris Van Vliet drama that happened today. If you guys missed that video, it is well worth your time. Lots of great points in that. Go check it out. It's on the homepage right now for everybody to consume. And tonight's show is sponsored by my great friends over at Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach is sponsoring the podcast tonight. Biggest sale of the year happening for Black Friday. All you got to do is go to turtlebeach.com/script and get yourself a nice gaming headset, man. You guys want to get in the game and dominate? Turtle Beach is the way, man. Thank you to Turtle Beach for sponsoring tonight's podcast right here on Off the Script. Let's get into this Dynamite show. We are going to start at the top, and we start with the Hurt Syndicate. Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. They all walked out. MVP and Bobby Lashley, they are the snazziest, fanciest dressers in all of pro wrestling. They give Cody a run for his money. Looking sharp out there. Sharp as a fucking butcher knife, man. Loved it. MVP. He's standing in between Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin. He says he's standing in between the two finest athletes to ever grace a pro wrestling ring. He says it's like standing between Michael Jordan and Walter Payton. There was a brief MVP chant. I don't know if Hurt Syndicate is going for MVP babyface reactions or if they're just chanting MVP because he mentioned Walter Payton and Michael Jordan in the same sentence, and clearly both are MVPs. I don't know, but clearly the Hurt Syndicate is, I wouldn't say super popular, but they are definitely trending towards the popular side, even on AEW television. He said when MVP gives you his business card, it's like getting a golden ticket and a chance to change your life. He says you can't outsmart them or, like Swerve Strickland, not be too terribly smart. Swerve's house chant rang out with a small group of Chicago fans who are trying to be loud, and the rest of them want to be on their phone sleeping. MVP pointed at the big screen, and we seen Bobby Lashley power slamming and spearing Swerve on his way to a ref stoppage at Full Gear after the Hurt Lock. He said Swerve is a former champion, but Lashley is the most dangerous man in AEW. I would say so after he beat Swerve in about 9 minutes at the pay-per-view. He says they win titles and then leverage those titles for more power and more money. Sounds like a sound game plan, if you ask me. He said they are the merchants of misery, and they are in the profession of pain. He turned to Shelton. He says he's kicking off the Continental Classic, showing what they do better than anyone else. And that was basically the end of the promo. Tony Schiavone says he hopes Swerve gets his comeuppance against Bobby Lashley eventually after putting up a big fight against Lashley at Full Gear. I don't know how you guys feel about the Hurt Syndicate, man. When they're on TV, there is just a different vibe. You know, it's almost like watching WWE on AEW television, so it's that comforting feeling that you're watching something on their show that you are slightly familiar with from the other show. But what I also pinpointed tonight on Twitter is that when you hear MVP speak and you see the presence and the aura of Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin looking as sharp as they do, and you got the coolness factor of the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt business was majorly over in WWE. There was a cool factor to them that Vince McMahon never truly tapped into because the Hurt Syndicate, the Hurt business then, was basically put together in hopes of getting Bobby Lashley to the next level and in hopes of getting Bobby Lashley to win the WWE Championship. And that's exactly what happened. That's the only reason for the group's existence. The only reason for the group's existence in WWE. As soon as Vince got what he wanted in Bobby Lashley winning the WWE Championship, he had no use for Shelton Benjamin and Cedric Alexander, which is a crime because Shelton Benjamin is fucking great and Cedric Alexander is great. So I don't really understand why they weren't utilized at least as a compliment to Bobby Lashley. And it pained me because I love tag team wrestling. I love a great tag division with competitive matches. The fact that you had both of those guys as a tag team representing the Hurt Business in WWE and you still did nothing to utilize them, that shit is fucking lame. That is awful. I don't get that sense here in AEW. I don't. You watch the Hurt Syndicate on AEW television, you get that comfortable feeling that you remember what you loved about the group in WWE. You watch MVP speak, you listen to MVP speak, and it just comes off sounding different than everybody else on the roster. You look at them and they look different than everybody else on the roster. And I don't want to take away from the roster because AEW's roster, when you really want to fucking dice it up, is fucking impressive. It really is. But there's a lot of same old on the roster. There's a lot of people who don't really stand out. Everybody just feels the same. A lot of that has to do with the similar styles on the show. A lot of that has to do with the way Tony's booked them. When you watch the Hurt Syndicate, it's like they stand out because they're not dripping wet, 130 pounds, and they actually look like fucking professional wrestlers. That's the clear difference between the Hurt Syndicate and everybody else. And if that doesn't open up the eyes of Tony Khan or anybody else fucking writing this garbage every week, I don't know what will. The landscape of AEW has changed. Once upon a time, they needed to deliver banger matches because we weren't getting banger matches over on the WWE side of things. Vince did what Vince wanted. Tony Khan was needed. Tony Khan's vision was needed for the pro wrestling industry. We weren't getting half the shit that we're getting with AEW on WWE television. I don't know how many times I got to repeat myself. Now we're not. Now we're not getting anything that resembles AEW, and we're not getting anything that once was the AEW that we loved. Now WWE is giving us everything that we wanted and everything that Tony was giving us, Triple H is giving us. We'll see banger matches on WWE television. More than normal. Story is rich. Story is consistent. Shows are a little bit more, I don't want to say a little bit more, a lot more. Life, excitement. Everything that AEW right now is doing is falling flat. If they need to rely on some of that legit business, if they need to rely on some of that realism, if they need to rely on some of that cool factor that was born in WWE with the Hurt Business, now the Hurt Syndicate, I'm giving these guys the ball, and I'm letting them run with it. I don't stifle them. I don't tell them what to do. I don't get in their way. I don't muddy their vision. I don't. Let MVP, let Bobby Lashley, and let Shelton Benjamin do what they got to do, and let them bring the Hurt Syndicate to where they wanted in WWE. Because it would have been great there, and it's got the potential to be great now. And clearly you see how the group is standing out on AEW television, more so than everybody else that you're normally used to seeing on AEW television. Let them do their thing. It just jumps off the TV screen how different they are on this show and how different they are in this environment compared to everybody else. So I'm loving what they're doing. Loving what they're doing. Exactly. Romulus. Let them cook. Let them cook. You're not going to go into a fucking kitchen where Emerald or Bobby Flay are cooking a fucking grade A banger meal. Tony's overlooking it. Bobby, I think we need a little cayenne pepper in this one. I think you sliced those potatoes wrong over there, Bobby. What are you doing, man? I need a little bit more bang, Emerald. Or a little bit more boom, Emerald. No, give me a break. It's exactly what Tony Khan, he'd be. I need a little bit more salt and pepper in this pasta sauce, man. Yeah, give me a fucking break. Let them cook. Let them cook. Solid promo. It established the faction. Mission statement is out there for everybody to really kind of sink their teeth into. What are the Hurt Syndicate about? There you go. MVP told you. They want to bring the pain. They want to win the titles. They want to leverage those titles for more power and more money. Boom. I don't know what anybody's thinking in AEW. I couldn't fucking tell you, man. Their mind changes on a whim, man. I mean, we could wake up tomorrow morning and Tony has a completely different vision for something else that happened 1 week ago. If I'm booking this shit, I'm adding another powerful name to the Hurt Syndicate, and they are the ones to go after the Death Riders. If we don't see the Hurt Syndicate and the Death Riders, a faction versus faction warfare, I don't know what we're doing. You build them up to a point where that coolness factor and that aura are going to stand out even more month after month after month after month. I don't know what the plans are. If you're thinking about bringing back Omega and the Bucks and Hangman to go up against the Death Riders, I mean, that shit's going to fall flat on its face. We need a new AEW. We need a new vision. We need new stars. Instead of going back to the two guys in Matt and Nick Jackson that basically have killed this fucking company. Love Kenny, love Hangman, but that ain't it. You add another solid name, 2 names to the Hurt Syndicate, you throw them up against the Death Riders, that's your fucking, who's going to save AEW? Because they are the most legit. They are going to be the ones to stand out, not anybody else. Can you imagine Matt and Nick Jackson coming back to save the fucking company? Can you imagine how awful that's going to be? Can you imagine how people are going to moan and groan and roll their eyeballs at that one? I dare them to try it. I seriously dare them to try it. That shit will fall flat on its face. It will be the biggest failure in AEW history. What was not a failure is Shelton Benjamin and his first match in the Continental Classic. Blue League. Shelton Benjamin and Mark Brisco. 1-on-1. Now, if you guys were watching the show, the rules of the Continental Classic have now changed. It is not the same rules as last year. Tony went and changed the rules this year because he is going to give himself 5 weeks of an out where he doesn't have to book anything storyline related, and he's just going to rely on banger matches. The Continental Classic format has changed, and this was announced on Dynamite. Last year, the semifinals were place 1 and place 2 in the Blue League against each other, and number 1 and number 2 in the Gold League against each other. This time, it's first in the Blue League versus second in the Gold League, first in the Gold League, and second in the Blue League. So we're going to get number 1 or number 2 in each leagues battling number 1 or number 2 in the opposite league. Semifinals will take place, both of these matches, by the way, the semifinals will take place at World's End. And then the finals will take place at World's End. So we are getting 2 semifinal matches and then a final at World's End. So that occupies 3 matches out of the proposed 8 or 9 that we'll see on AEW's last pay-per-view of the year. And you know exactly why he did that. It's exactly why I started the show off with the way that I did, or in the way that I did. Tony is afraid of any type of creative dialogue and story. He runs away from the word story. So instead of booking the finals at the show like he did last year, which is suitable, it's fine, it was perfect the way it was last year, he's now booking 2 semifinal matches and a final 3 matches next year at World's End for the pay-per-view. That wasn't announced last week. This was a change that happened within the last 7 days. They didn't even announce it. I don't even think they announced this on their Sunday YouTube video that they uploaded. It was Championship Sunday or whatever it was, Classic Sunday, whatever the fuck they named it. Selection Sunday for the Continental Classic. The rules of the Continental Classic were the same as they were last year on Sunday, and then he changed it. All of a sudden, he woke up today and said, you know what? I'm going to change the Continental Classic. Some of you might be happy with that. Some of you might not like that. I just think it's fucking lazy. For pay-per-view, I think it's lazy. It means that for 2 matches, now he doesn't have to do anything as far as story, writing, and creating some reason as to why these matches happen. He's got the tournament to back him up, and the tournament being the reason why these things are happening. Just an observation. Shelton Benjamin and Mark Brisco. If you guys were upset that Shelton Benjamin did not get used in WWE to his full potential, if you were upset in WWE that Shelton Benjamin did not get an opportunity, you should be watching AEW Dynamite if you're a Shelton fan, a fan of Shelton's work, because this tournament is going to be A, incredible for him and his fans, and B, I mean, this guy has done more work in the last 4 weeks than he has in 5 years in WWE, which is a great thing to see because he's a tremendous professional wrestler. This was great. Mark Brisco is in the tournament this year. He was in the tournament last year. We discussed this on Tuesday Night Titans with the Solid Monster last night. The reason why people like Mark Brisco and Juice Robinson are in the tournament is because they basically are taking the tournament spots to give losses to them. They are the ones that are going to be accumulating losses this year. Mark Brisco, I believe, won 1 match last year, and Jay Lethal was in the tournament last year. He didn't win any matches last year. So they were in the tournament to basically be puppy chow for the rest of everybody else so that they could accumulate points and move up the standings and move up the rankings. And that's exactly what Mark Brisco is going to be used as this year. He lost tonight against Shelton Benjamin. Great match. Great match. Now, it's not the first time that they've been in the ring together. They hadn't faced each other since the world's greatest tag team and the Briscoes feuded in Ring of Honor. And there was a Charlie Haas mention on AEW Dynamite tonight in regards to that. Brisco had a stare down with Bobby Lashley right before the match started because there are no outside interferences allowed. Everybody that is a faction or a group or a manager, you got to go to the back. So that means no MVP, no Lashley. Kyle Fletcher's in this thing. That means no Don Callis outside. It is a straight up one-on-one, just no frills, no outside interference, no bullshit, no shenanigans type of tournament. There's no interference allowed. So Brisco and Lashley had a stare down. So it might be a tease for what is to come in the future. I don't know what that stare down was about. Are we going to see Brisco and Bobby Lashley for some reason? I don't know. Is Brisco going to be a part of the war with the Death Riders potentially and the Hurt Syndicate? Is the conglomeration going to be a part of that? Are they going to remain a part of that? I don't know. I don't know. But there was a stare down here, and this was done for a reason. I don't really trust Tony Khan and the creative team on AEW, but this was done specifically for a reason. I don't know what that reason is yet, but it got people excited on social media. So we'll pick it up after the commercial break. Brisco went up top. Benjamin sprung to his feet, scaled the ropes, hit a superplex, and we go into a picture-in-picture. Benjamin remained in control when things came back. Brisco started to no-sell, firing himself up. Big babyface reaction here from Mark Brisco. Palm strikes, backed up Benjamin, allowed Brisco to fire off some chops. Rolling Death Valley driver. He goes up top again. Brisco successfully hits the Froggy Bow. Clutched his own ribs in the process upon coming down. Benjamin rolled outside. Brisco hit another elbow from the apron. Back inside, Brisco wanted a third. But Benjamin got the knees up on the third froggy bow and did a series of German suplexes, which looked nasty. Release German suplexes on Brisco. He put the brakes to that, did Brisco, with a step-up enziguri to Shelton Benjamin. Benjamin avoided the J-Driller and hit a big kick, followed up with a step-up corner knee and a big thrust kick for a 2-count cover. Benjamin hit another flush before hitting the T-bone suplex, and that was enough for the victory. Shelton Benjamin starts the Continental Classic off and the tournament off with a win, and the Hurt Syndicate is primed and ready to win this tournament. Shelton Benjamin gets 3 points. Mark Brisco is not eliminated because it's a round-robin tournament, so he can come back and still have a very good chance of winning this tournament. We know he's not. He did the same thing last year, and like I said before, he's just there to basically be puppy chow for everybody else in his league. He's going to be the one taking the majority of the losses in the Continental Classic. I thought this was great. Shelton Benjamin looked like a beast out there, and this tournament is going to do him so well, man. It is going to open up so many eyes. If you don't know Shelton's work, it's going to open up all those new eyes to how good Shelton Benjamin is at 49 years old. Age is not even a number with him, man. He don't even look 49. He looks 39. It's fucking unbelievable. He is great. I am very excited to see what he does in this tournament. And, man, the banger matches that we are going to get out of this Continental Classic, I mean, I got them listed here, I believe. I got them listed here. The Continental Classic this year is really good. The only problem I have with the Continental Classic is that we see a lot of names that were in the tournament last year. The Blue League is Okada, Kyle Fletcher, Danny Garcia as the TNT champion. Don't really get that one. He was in last year's tournament. Beast Mortos, Mark Brisco, who was in last year's tournament, and Shelton Benjamin. So we're going to get Benjamin and Okada. We're going to get Benjamin and Kyle Fletcher. We're going to get Benjamin and Danny Garcia. We're going to get Benjamin and Beast Mortos. Those are some banger matches right there, bro. You know, I make fun of Beast Mortos. We all make fun of Beast Mortos. Whatever he does, man, that's all he says. But he's a fine pro wrestler. I wouldn't necessarily have him in the tournament, but Tony is a mark. And he loves his Lucha Libre. He had to get some Lucha Libre representation in this tournament. If Hologram wasn't injured, I guarantee you Hologram would have been in the Continental Class. Guarantee it. Gold League is Will Ospreay, Juice Robinson, Brody King, Ricochet, Claudio Castagnoli, who was in last year's tournament, and Darby Allin. Brody was in last year's tournament as well. So we got a couple of repeats. It's one of the major problems I have with the tournament, man. I don't know why we needed Brody King in the tournament this year. You had Buddy Matthews right there, bro. Buddy Matthews is one of the greatest in-ring performers in the world. Nothing wrong with Brody, but we saw Brody last year. And after the reaction that Buddy Matthews got at Full Gear in New Jersey on the pre-show, I don't know why Buddy Matthews wasn't utilized in the tournament over Brody King. I don't really understand that decision. Could have really given an opportunity to Buddy, but instead he goes back and gives it to Brody, who was in last year's tournament and didn't really do much of anything in the tournament last year. I don't know. It's not my tournament to book. It's not my tournament to have fun with. It's Tony's. Shelton Benjamin won. Very good match to open the show. Tony Schiavone. He welcomed Mercedes Moné. And the crowd went mild. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. She's out there. CEO. CE no. CE no. She's out there. She walked out with Camille, whose arm is still in a sling. She said, Chicago, say hello to your CEO. No, thank you. Schiavone said her match with Chris Statlander was the longest women's match in AEW history, and some are calling it the women's match of the year. Now, that is a very subjective thing. I personally did not have this as the women's match of the year. I would say this was probably number 2. As far as in-ring work, I would say this is minus the Meteoras. I think, how many people counted Meteoras in Mercedes' match with Kris Statlander? What was it, like 7 Meteoras, 8 Meteoras? The double knees? Yeah, we got to change that. It's like me spamming fucking the same move over and over and over again in a fucking video game. It's like me going to play Marvel vs. Capcom and me being Iron Man and me just going to the fucking blast cannon every fucking time, man. You know it works. It's like a guaranteed 50-hit combo. What Mercedes did, bro. So, I think it's probably, as far as a genuine one-on-one pro wrestling match, the best women's match of the year. The best women's match of the year overall is Kris Statlander versus Willow Nightingale at All Out and their hardcore match. That's what I'm going with. So, Mercedes said Statlander proved she's one of the very, very best in the ring, but she is the greatest TBS champion of all time. And she showed how a real woman gets the job done. And she looked over at Camille when she said that. She said, since Camille can't get anything done right, she wanted to tell her something this evening. So I think we all kind of figured out where this was going. Mercedes was going to fire Camille. Camille grabbed the microphone away from Mercedes before she could be fired. Camille interrupted and told her, "Oh, will you shut up? Are you stupid or are you dumb?" I think those words in that sentence should really go to Will Washington and Tony Khan because they are the forefront of booking this show. Are you stupid or are you dumb? I ask this question every fucking week. You can't fire me because I quit. She shoved the microphone in Mercedes' chest. Mercedes screeched like a banshee. What? What did she say? She quit on me? Fans then chanted, "You deserve it." And that's the way the segment came to an end. AEW took Camille, who I'm sure they listened to a podcast or a content creator in the space and probably came up with this idea, or I should say stole the idea, because I heard this from a couple of people in the community, and then we see it all of a sudden play out on television. I don't even think it was an idea that they physically came up with. They had Camille come on in 3 months ago. No rhyme or reason. No fanfare. No vignette. Who is she? Nobody knows. She shows up. She's Mercedes' muscle. And she was supposed to beat Mercedes' heater. She was supposed to complement the heel act that Mercedes Moné is as TBS champion. We got absolutely nothing through month 1. Through the second month, we got nothing. And then all of a sudden, in the third month, Tony looks at Mercedes, looks at his fancy, expensive toy in Mercedes Moné, his current TBS champion, and he is bored with Mercedes. He's bored with the direction of Mercedes and feels like instead of changing something about Mercedes, instead of giving Mercedes a story, he feels like, all right, well, after 3 months, I think we're bored of Camille. Let's get rid of Camille and let's replace Camille with somebody potentially and get Camille away from Mercedes and just end the act altogether, end the duo altogether. What exactly has happened in the 3 months for me to emotionally invest in Camille? Did she do anything? Has she said anything? Have we gotten a glimpse into her character? Do we know who she is, what she's about? Has she said anything? Has she done anything dastardly to garner real heel heat? Has she done anything dastardly to really get the emotion flowing in the fan base to see her and Mercedes really just get what's coming to them? Did she add anything to Mercedes' act as far as, oh man, I can't wait till Mercedes loses that championship because I can't stand her? You know, there's a difference between building characters and creating dialogue and creating story and having that translate to a fan watching at home or a fan who's paying money, good money, to see this show live and experience it live. Nothing translated in the way that it needed to. Everything that Camille did not translate to Mercedes, and everything that Camille and Mercedes did together garnered zero emotional investment. You did not wish for Mercedes to lose the championship or get what's coming to her because an overcoming valiant babyface is in the vision of the TBS championship. There's been no baby faces that the fans could get behind. There's been no reason for us to boo Mercedes legitimately. Camille and Mercedes have been a fail. Mercedes is a fail. Camille is a fail. There's been no story. There's been no emotion. And on top of Mercedes being a great pro wrestler, which we all know she is when she wants to wrestle, this relationship has garnered nothing. Nothing. Normally, the translation means, I can't wait to see this heel get what's coming to them. Instead, the translation is, get off my TV. I can't stand you on my TV. You're just as bad as Chris Jericho. You are just as bad as the Learning Tree. That's not good creative, Mr. Washington. It's not good creative, Tony. So what are we doing now? You wasted everybody's time for 3 months. And if the direction is Camille and Mercedes for the TBS title, because, let's be honest, Mercedes got nobody else in that division. She's beaten everybody else. And Julia Hart right now is coming back to take care of Jamie Hayter before she gets back her TBS title. If she gets back her TBS title. Is the plan for World's End Mercedes and Camille? Is that the vision? How can you expect anybody to care about that when you've done nothing to propel and prop up Camille as an important character on TV? This woman's had 2 matches. She's done nothing. She said nothing. You treated her like a complete fucking doofus. She's been treated like a complete geek. And you want me to sit there and say, yeah, Camille, I can't wait for you to teach Mercedes a lesson. I don't care about her. I don't care about Mercedes. I don't care about the TBS title. So please tell me how good of a job is creative done to get us to care about any of this? Haven't done a fucking thing. And Mercedes will go into December, just like she went into April and May and June and July and August and September and October and November. The same way she's going to go into December is ice fucking cold. Ice cold with no story, no dialogue. And you want me to care? Does anybody expect Camille to win the TBS championship? And even if there is a thought by some fucking geek in the creative department to maybe put the championship on Camille, what good would the TBS championship do Camille if for 3 months you treated her like a fucking geek? You've dropped the ball on this so royally that whoever is in charge, whoever is on the writing team, you should be fucking fired immediately. You took a story and a partnership that should have lasted 12 months with some proper story, some proper build, some proper tension, some proper emotion, and you wasted it in 3 months with absolutely no beginning, no end, and no middle. And then you wonder why people are tuning out in numbers to AEW television. Because you willingly treat your audience like a bunch of fucking low IQ, half-witted idiots. Gee, I wonder why Mercedes is not getting any reaction. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world. Gee, I wonder why. Woman has come in from WWE with accolades that span a Hall of Fame career at the age of 31 years old. And AEW has killed every aspect of Mercedes, and AEW has killed her mystique more than anybody could have ever imagined. Sure, most of it is Tony's fault, and most of it is creative's fault. But Mercedes is not innocent in this situation either. She doesn't get away scot-free. She willingly took Tony Khan's fucking money for a massive payday, and with that massive payday should have came change. Great change. Revolutionary change. Haven't seen a fucking iota of change since she's arrived in AEW. Not one instance of change in the company. Nobody is better off for Mercedes being there. Nobody is over with Mercedes being there. She hasn't helped anybody get to the next stage of their career. In 8 months, Mercedes Moné has not done a fucking thing for anybody she's been in the ring with. Not one single person. Willow. What has she done for Willow? Nothing. AEW. Willow is a breakout star waiting to happen. WWE would fucking make her into a superstar. AEW. Start, stop. Now she's off TV doing what? Competing in a fucking New Japan tournament for a fucking title or trophy that legitimately nobody on this soil could give a flying fuck about. Sky Blue, wasted. Has Sky Blue been better off because Mercedes is there? No. Julia Hart, injured. Has Julia Hart been better off because Mercedes is there? No. Stephanie Vaquer, she got out of Dodge quicker than you could fucking breathe. She saw the writing on the wall. Thanks for coming. And she actually out-wrestled Mercedes in her match. Britt Baker? Oh my God. As big of a star Britt Baker is to this division, man, she looked worse than Mercedes. And Mercedes could do nothing to help aid Britt in getting back to where she needed to be. Chris Statlander, another L for Saturday Night Fever over there, man. Jesus fucking Christ. Now we got Camille. So I asked the question again. What has Mercedes done for this division? What has Tony and the writing team done to aid this division with Mercedes at the helm? Nothing. You should all be fucking fired. You should all be fucking ashamed of yourself that you got this amount of talent in that division, and it's fucking worse than it was 2 years ago. How you people willingly accept a fucking paycheck from this money mark, and this is the television that you provide, and this is the story that you think is captivating a fucking audience to watch on a week-to-week basis. Solid Monster said it best last night. Billy Corgan, who is as clueless as a fucking dingbat. He runs the NWA. He booked Camille better than Tony could ever dream of booking Camille. So what does that mean to me? Is Billy Corgan better at what he does than Tony Khan? The Smashing Pumpkin himself is better than Tony Khan and him running the second biggest pro wrestling promotion in North America. I will continue to say this until I see some actual change in the division. Seems like Mercedes is all about herself. I don't want to be wrong. Actually, I want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong ever, but I would rather be wrong on this. I would love to be wrong on this. I don't want to be made to look like Camille because I propped up Mercedes coming on into AEW, and I propped up Mercedes when she spent time in WWE. Did she take the money? And did she leave the WWE to be the biggest fish in the smallest pond? The biggest fish with the most power in the smallest pond, knowing she was a great white coming on into a fucking ocean and nobody was going to absolutely do anything to test her? Was that the overwhelming reason why she joined AEW, the money and the power? Did not care about change whatsoever. I thought she came in here and thought she was going to take the revolution worldwide. I don't see anything happening. I don't give a fuck what happens in Japan. I don't give a shit what happens in Stardom. I don't care about what happens here in America. On TV, on TBS. You're shooting blanks. You're like Aaron Judge in the fucking World Series against the Dodgers. I don't know whether to laugh or to fucking cry. Awful. Camille is dead. Dead, dead, dead. I dare them to make this match. It will mean nothing. At the end of the day, it will mean nothing. I feel like we need some red skies during this segment. What followed this was Chris Jericho. He's out there with Big Bill and Brian Keith. He defended the Ring of Honor Championship against Tomohiro Ishii. I really don't know why I try anymore, man. I mean, there's no sense in losing my voice over decisions like this that are made on a Wednesday night. I genuinely, wholeheartedly don't know. I don't know how you are Tony Khan. Never mind Tony Khan. I don't know how you are somebody on this writing team. If you even want to call them that. There's not a creative bone in their collective bodies. All fucking 27 of them. I don't know how you are sitting at a table where Tony is also seated, and he brings up this idea of doing Chris Jericho and Tomohiro Ishii for the Ring of Honor World Championship on the Thanksgiving Eve episode of Dynamite. I don't understand how nobody in that meeting, nobody on that team sitting at that table raised their hand and physically asked Tony, boss, with all due respect, I don't think that this is a good idea. I don't know how you are that person and did not actively try to speak up to Tony Khan about how bad of an idea this was to take place on Dynamite. If you are that person on that writing team who did not speak up in this instance, while Tony frantically, maliciously, outlandishly booked this match, if you let Tony put this down on a piece of paper and take it to Gorilla where things were finalized, if you allowed that to happen without speaking up, you should be removed from all writing duties in this life and the next. Never to write anything again. Pro wrestling, a news article, your thoughts for the day, helping your children do fucking basic first grade math. You should not be able to exist in this lifetime or the next lifetime with a pencil, pen, or any writing instrument in your hand. Never again. Never again. This was the most embarrassing. This was the most egregious. This was the most offensive television that I think I genuinely watched all year. And I'm a Chris Jericho guy. I love Chris Jericho. But if you are watching Jericho devolve into what he has become in 2024 with the Learning Tree gimmick, and are there defending this in any shape or aspect, in any way, shape, or form, you're not even a human being to me. This match consisted of nothing but knife-edge chops, slaps to the face, thumbs to the eye, with a crowd that was so restless, they were booing everything that happened. Booing. I didn't hear Tony Khan mention anything about this match on social media, about how great it was, and the funny chants that were thrown about in Chicago. I didn't hear a fucking word. He didn't tweet a goddamn fucking thing in regards to this match. Do you want to know why? Because this was absolutely the lowest form of garbage that AEW Dynamite could ever produce on a 2-hour show on Wednesday. I beg of you. I beg of you, I beg of you, I plead with you. I don't know what God I have to get on my hands and knees to and pray to. I don't know what I have to do. I don't know what I have to do. I beg of you, please, for the love of Christ Almighty, the Learning Tree needs to die. Tomohiro Ishii needs to get the fuck off my television, send his bags packing back to New Japan, never to be seen on television here on American soil ever again. I don't know who asked for this. I don't know who wants to see this. If you want to see this on television every week, you clearly need to be put away and locked up, and the key needs to be fucking buried somewhere very far away, never to be found in any lifetime ever again. This is awful. Absolutely fucking awful. I don't know how Tony can go to sleep knowing that this took place on his show. I don't know how this man could physically get on his private jet and smile and say to Will Washington, "That was a banger show, man. That was a banger show, man."
Will, that was a banger show, man! I can't believe the great match that Tomohiro Ishii had with the Learning Tree. Ring of Honor is so great! Jericho is bringing him in!
This may have been the lowest point of Jericho's entire career. 30-year career, this is the lowest point I've ever seen Chris Jericho. I will not be reviewing the match. I will not be talking about anything that happened in this match. The Ring of Honor World Championship and the Ring of Honor brand should die. Jericho in the Learning Tree needs to get the fuck off television. And I will gladly sign me up, man. I have my fucking debit card ready, man. I'll buy my fucking plane ticket wherever it needs to be to pack Tomohiro Ishii's bags personally. Get him the fuck off of television. A fucking goddamn embarrassment. Get him off. Nobody wants it. Nobody cares for it. Nobody wants to see it. Get him the fuck off my television. Nobody gives a fuck about New Japan. Nobody gives a fuck about these Japanese wrestlers. Get them the fuck off of television. Don't care. Moving on. Renee Paquette. She interviewed Swerve Strickland and Prince Nana backstage. Swerve said rebuilding is something he does very well. He said after a win or a loss, he figures it out. He says he's never been hit so hard by someone in his life. I don't know why something like that is said. I don't know. I don't know why something like that is said. He's never been hit by someone like Bobby Lashley so hard in his entire life. Maybe he forgot where he was in September, where he was in a steel cage match with Adam Page, and he got hit with a fucking cinder block. He got hit with a piece of charred house that Hangman burned down. I get selling how big and how tough Bobby Lashley is. But let's not forget what Swerve had to go through coming out of All In. Are we fucking serious? Bobby Lashley could snap anybody in half, man. He's one of the toughest human beings walking the planet. We get it. But do you genuinely believe Swerve Strickland when he says something idiotic like that? I know I don't. Guy was injected with a dirty needle at the end of the fucking match and blasted with a steel chair that everybody fucking bitched and complained about, and you want me to sit there and claim that Bobby Lashley hit Swerve Strickland so hard, it's been the hardest that he's ever been hit in his entire life. Who on God's green writes this shit that we gotta ingest this shit, digest this garbage on television? And then you want to know why everybody's just zoned out of AEW television, because they treat their audience like a bunch of fucking half-witted idiots. Max Caster walked behind him laughing and said, brutal. Brutal. Swerve yelled at him, hey, my man, what's so funny? Caster turned back around and said, Swerve lost at the Prudential Center in Newark, which is where he beat him for the tag team championships with Bowens when Swerve in Our Glory was a thing. Remember them? He said, Swerve used to be a house of fire. Swerve grabbed him. Obviously, he was throwing some shade at what happened to his childhood home, beat on him, threw him into a rolling crate, and beat the shit out of him. Nana had to pull him away. I don't know what you guys got out of this segment, but the only thing I could conjure up here is that Max Caster is going to join the Hurt Business sooner rather than later. That's what it looks like to me. We'll see what happens. I am not in favor of breaking up the Acclaimed. I just don't see them doing anything individually on this roster with the sheer amount of bodies that exist. I also wouldn't be breaking up tag teams in one of the worst times to be a tag team in AEW, the weakest the division has ever been. But the Acclaimed is ice cold. The Acclaimed is basically dead if you really want to, if you really want to open up and be honest with yourselves. The Acclaimed is dead. Old daddy ass, sesame, daddy ass, all that nonsense, dead. Fucking dead. I don't know what went wrong. Tony is what went wrong. Maybe joining the Hurt Syndicate is best for Max Caster. Shivani. He stood in the middle of the ring and introduced my guy, Adam Hangman Page. He's out there. Just love the vibe and the environment and the ambiance that Adam Page just kind of commands, that he brings forth when he's out there, man. Everything is like that smoky red when you see a blazing fire and you get that red just glow and the smoke. I love it. Tony Schiavone asked him about losing his match at Full Gear to Jay White. And then he attacked Christopher Daniels and then attacked Wheeler Yuta and then seemed to be helping Christian Cage possibly secure the world title. Help us wrap our head around that, says Tony Schiavone. Hangman yanked the mic away. He yelled at Tony. Tony flees. Useless fucking sack of garbage is Tony Schiavone. Hangman yelled that if Daniels wants to get in his face again, he'll knock him down and he won't get back up. He said if he made a deal with Christian, he was hoping that he would have held up his end of the bargain. He made a deal with Christian and he held up his end of the bargain. He said if Christian held up his end, he'd be going to Thanksgiving dinner with a belt wrapped around his waist. He said his intention has always been to be the AEW World Heavyweights Champion. He says it should have never been Swerve's or Bryan's or Christian's. It's always been his title. We got a $100 bomb by my guy, Best in the World, Matt. What's up, JD and OTS fam? Want to know something funny? I was at the Windy City Riot show back in April at Wintrust Arena for New Japan, and they drew more people than AEW did tonight for Dynamite. Happy Thanksgiving to the OTS family. Matt, happy Thanksgiving to you and your family as well, brother. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody that's joining me here tonight. 2,500 live for this Thanksgiving Eve AEW Dynamite post show. And shout out to my family on Twitch as well. I started the stream a little late tonight, so you guys missed most of the intro and the cool music. But I don't think anybody's going to be complaining over there. Jay White, he came out. Jay said, guns up for the Chicago Gold members. He taunted Hangman for losing to him at Full Gear. He brought up Wrestle Dream also. He's got 5 wins over the Hangman. He says he lost both of those matches, and he said if anybody is going to become AEW champion, it's going to be him. He stood on the ring apron and offered to fight him again here tonight in Chicago. All of a sudden, Pac of the Death Riders shows up, and he yanked White off the ring apron. Wheeler Yuta then attacked Hangman. Pac joined Wheeler in stomping down the Hangman. White got rid of Yuta and Pac, but Hangman caught him with a lariat. Marina Shafir comes in and bashed Hangman Page over the head with the briefcase. Jay White ducked a briefcase shot by Marina and actually had her in position to deliver the Blade Runner. I would have loved to see that. But Jon Moxley charged into the ring and attacked Jay White. Shafir choked out Jay White, and he passed out. Yuta, Pac, Moxley were all stalking around. She tossed White to the mat, and then all 4 men began to stomp away at Jay White, who was out cold, lifeless in the middle of the ring. Mox lifted White, and then Pac bashed him with the briefcase with the AEW title presumed to be in the briefcase, and that's the way the segment came to an end. I actually thought this segment was decent. I thought this was a very good segment. I would probably say this was the best segment of the entire night, to be quite honest with you. Now, going off the air on Saturday night, everybody was confused. I didn't know what was going on. Commentary did absolutely a terrible job of telling us what the fuck was going on. I don't know if that was done by design or if they're all just fucking clueless by design. I don't know. I'm going to go with answer B. They're all fucking clueless. Now, one single commentator on Saturday night told us exactly what was going on. They didn't give us a glimpse into what was going on. I don't know. What could this be? I don't know. You're the fucking storytellers. Why don't you fucking tell me? We discussed this on last night's TNT. I gave Solomon Monster the floor to go over exactly what was going on. There was a situation in the Owen Hart Cup, and we got Christian Cage and his involvement with Adam Page and Jay White. There was a situation there that stemmed from the Owen Hart tournament. And then we get a situation where Christian costs Bullet Club Gold the Trios Championships. That was on Collision, I believe. Then we get a situation that followed where we got Christian Cage and Adam Page teaming up against Bullet Club Gold, or the Bang Bang Gang. So at some point, Christian Cage and Adam Page made a deal. And Jay White is involved, and Hangman hasn't beat Jay White at all. Jay White owns Adam Page at this point pretty handedly. So with the partnership now between Christian Cage and Adam Page, what we saw at the end of Full Gear was Christian Cage out there using Adam Page to take care of Wheeler Yuta and Jon Moxley and procure the AEW World Championship for Christian Cage. The deal was made that if Christian won the championship, Adam Page would get the first shot. None of that happened. He even uttered on Saturday night, "I'll give you the first shot." A deal was made. A deal was struck. Clearly, none of that went down, and Jon Moxley escaped with the AEW World Championship, and they got out of harm's way. Jay White stopped all that from happening. He put an end to that. He wants the World Championship. He doesn't want to see Christian win the World Championship because Christian fucked him over. He doesn't want to see Hangman win the World Championship because he's got a thing with Hangman. Why does Jay White want to see Hangman with the World Championship when Jay White beat Adam Page 2 pay-per-views in a row? So this is where we are now. Adam Page came out and explained that a deal should have been made. And if Christian won the championship, he would have beat Christian, and he would have been the AEW World Champion going to Thanksgiving dinner with his family tomorrow. Jay White's out there claiming that no, there's no deal happening anywhere. I'm getting the next shot because you want the World Championship. You're staking claim to that next championship title match with Jon Moxley. I've beaten you twice now. So in theory, Jay White is the next in line against Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship, and Adam Page has to wait his time and wait his turn. That's where we are. Did it come off as a clusterfuck and convoluted? Absolutely. Does Darby look like a fucking geek who does not have any chance whatsoever of ending Jon Moxley? Yes, he comes off like a geek and as illegitimate as they come. But Adam Page and Jay White, how many times have I said it on this show? Me personally, the more we see Adam Page and Jay White on television, the better television is for AEW. 2 studs, 2 blue chippers, 2 guys who are as legitimate as anybody on the roster, 2 of the best pro wrestlers in the entire company, 2 guys who I would love to see battling it out for the right to be AEW World Champion. How many times have we all wanted Jay White to be in a position to be a top-tier player in this company? He is now working his way up that way. How many times have we all collectively said that Adam Page, me personally, I would have put Adam Page in the World Championship match All In, and I would have had him beat Bryan for the World Championship at WrestleDream. Or at All In, whichever way you want it to go. He should be the world champion right now. Especially after beating Swerve in that match and burning his house down. He should be the top-tier guy. I'll keep saying that. I'm not the only one that thinks that way either. But you got these 2 guys who are now battling it out and making the AEW World Championship a priority. Important. How could we sit here and shit on that? After watching Moxley go through Dante Martin, Darius Martin, Action Andretti, The Dork Order, Orange Cassidy, Chuck Taylor, to see Adam Page and Jay White potentially getting involved with the Death Riders, I will take that 7 days out of 7 days of the week. Is the story lame? Has AEW dropped the ball on the Death Riders controlling AEW story? Yes, it's as basic could be, and it's as if a second grader is writing the fucking story. But Jason last night really made a good case that, yes, it does make sense. I didn't see it initially, but it does make sense. And Adam Page and Jay White battling it out with the Death Riders for the right to be the world champion, I don't think anybody should really complain about that, seeing where we are coming from with the Death Riders in the last 6, 7, 8 weeks of this storyline. I thought this was the best segment of the show. And if we get Jay White and Jon Moxley at World's End, that's a main event I can get behind. Moving on. We go right into another Continental Championship match. Tournament match. Gold League Continental Classic match. Claudio versus Ricochet. I don't know what is going on with Ricochet. I don't. I wish I had the answers for you. Ricochet came in like a house on fire. I never seen him as thrilled as I have seen him in 5 years when he debuted at All In during that gauntlet match. Gotta look like a new man. Ever since then, ever since that one appearance, I can't bring myself to really care about anything Ricochet is doing. I haven't seen the different Ricochet that we were promised, that we were expected to get in AEW. All we have gotten is the Ricochet that we last saw on WWE television, who's operating at 40, maybe 50%. Haven't seen anything from Ricochet yet. And it's sad. Guy goes into Full Gear as ice cold as he is. Wrestles one of the best pro wrestlers in the fucking world right now in Konosuke Takeshita, the current international champion. And they have the worst match of the night because the fans in Newark couldn't be bothered to give a shit about anything that they did in the match. And it's not because the match was bad. It's because Tony and Will Washington and the creative and the masterminds behind this fucking company, they fucked Takeshita and Ricochet up because the flow of the show was bad, the match order was fucking terrible, and everybody that watched that match felt absolutely nothing. It was the product of bad placement and the product of basically everything before that we've seen 1,000 times over, and when we got that match, we felt nothing. How many times do I have to repeat myself? What makes Ricochet stand out in AEW? Nothing. There's like 12 Ricochets. We got 4 Ricochets on the pre-show alone for Full Gear, yet you want me to sit here and be blown away by fucking Ricochet on AEW television when you got Commander doing fucking silly flips and dives, and you got Hologram doing what he does, and the Beast Mortos doing what he's doing, and we got Buddy Matthews. How many Ricochets exist in AEW? The more you see something, the less Ricochet is going to be special. That Will Ospreay match didn't really do them any favors either, because whatever we got in that Will Ospreay match against Kyle Fletcher, we saw exactly some of the same shit that we got in the Ricochet match against Takeshita. Kick out after kick out, false kick out, finishing moves, kick out, big spots, kick out, 630s, sentons, topes, fucking tornado dives. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over again all night for 3 hours. And then when we get to Ricochet, dead. Yet then he's probably going to go online and he's going to criticize the fans for thinking the way that they do. Meanwhile, we have nothing to do with it. It's not our fucking fault. Go look at the people that fucking produced and formatted that fucking show on Saturday night. It's not my fucking problem. What has this guy done? They've already blown through Will Ospreay Ricochet. We're going to get it again, guaranteed, in the Classic. Is it going to mean anything then? How much is it going to mean when it happens in one of these rinky-dink funkin' towns in front of 2,000 people? Claudio. I knew coming into this match, there was only one outcome. Claudio needed to win. He Yeah, Ricochet needs a win. Yeah, Ricochet's taken several losses. I think he's, 8-5? Currently in AEW? Claudio is a part of the Death Riders, and Claudio needs to look strong. Otherwise, the Death Riders don't look as strong controlling AEW. If Claudio's going to lose, it's going to be by a fluke pinfall or a fluky situation. He's not going to be beaten clean. Unless it's like somebody super over. Claudio's not going to go undefeated. He's not going to win the Classic, but we're not having Claudio lose right out of the gate. We're not. He made his entrance first to Claudio. Claudio made his entrance after the Death Riders beat up Jay White. So we got one segment bleeding into the next. Ricochet makes his entrance. Excalibur pushed Collision starting at 4 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. There's some banger Continental Classic matches happening on Saturday. I don't know if I'm going to be bothered to watch it at 4 p.m. 4 p.m., the reason why they're doing it at 4 p.m. is because Survivor Series is happening at 6 p.m. and probably won't end till 10. So WWE occupies Saturday night, and no one's going to watch Saturday night, and they got their precious Continental Classic happening on Saturday. So they backed the time up on Saturday to 4 p.m. Collision's going to be 2 hours, 4 to 6. And then here's the kicker, guys. They got an extra hour of AEW television on Saturday night. When Survivor Series is already an hour deep, they got Rampage. Get this. It's going to be a Lucha Libre edition of Rampage. Oh, my fucking goodness. Tell me Tony Khan doesn't give a shit without telling me Tony Khan doesn't give a shit about Rampage. The quicker that show is canceled, the better off our lives would be. Unbelievable. Just so you guys were wondering why Collision's happening at 4 p.m. Well, why is it happening at 4 p.m.? Because nobody gives a fuck about AEW on Saturday night. We got Bloodline against Bloodline, Paul Heyman and CM Punk back with Roman Reigns. Nobody gives a fuck about Commander and Atlantis Jr. and Hechicero and Starman. Nobody gives a shit. We go to a commercial break. We'll pick it up after the commercial break between Claudio and Ricochet. There was a bold forever chant in this match. Now, the reason why that happened is because Ricochet has no hair. Claudio has no hair. JD from New York is going to have no hair. Reason why I wear my cap all the time. Bold forever. Instead of fight forever, bold forever. We come back from the commercial break. Ricochet had to dive through the ropes, went up top, looked for a dive. Claudio caught him, backbreaker. Big boot, goes for a cover 2 count. Claudio wanted a pop-up uppercut. Ricochet stood on his chest and backflipped out into a round-the-world head scissors and then executed another dive over the top rope to the floor. Great spot. That's what Ricochet brings to the table. How often can we see that? I don't know. But again, how could Ricochet be special when we got Hologram doing that on Saturday nights? Just another fancy gymnast that Tony Khan employs and has taking space up on his toy shelf. So after that, we go back inside. Springboard clothesline connects, followed by a lion salt for a near fall. Ricochet tried for a springboard off the second rope. Claudio hit an uppercut in midair for a 2. Sharpshooter transitioned into a crossface. Claudio wanted a Ricola bomb. Ricochet rolled through. Claudio threw Ricochet to the floor and into the barricade. He wanted a count out, but Ricochet broke up the count. Claudio hit a big-time lariat and got the 1, 2, 3. Claudio beats Ricochet, and Ricochet already a loser in his first Continental Classic match. Why, JD? Why? The answer is very simple, folks. Ricochet is going to play the Eddie Kingston role in this year's Continental Classic. They will take Ricochet and have him lose next week as well, or wherever his next match is going to be. Eddie Kingston lost the first 3 matches of last year's Continental Classic to ultimately win the whole thing. Now, he's not going to win the whole thing, but the reason why they are in the same bracket, Ricochet and Ospreay, is because Ricochet is going to be the one who loses, ultimately to battle back, and he needs that last match against Will Ospreay. That's the story in their league. That's going to be it. They are, I believe, they are in the Gold League. That's what's going to be. I would not be surprised that actually is the semifinal match for the Gold League, and that actually happens at World's End. Eddie Kingston won the entire thing last year. I'm not going with Ricochet or Will Ospreay to win the whole thing. I guarantee you, my prediction is we get Ospreay and Ricochet at the pay-per-view. They redo it the way that it should be. And we get Ospreay and Fletcher in the finals. That's what I'm going with. We're going to get the best of both worlds. That's why Tony changed the rules. We're going to get Ospreay and Ricochet on pay-per-view, and we're going to get either Ospreay Okada or Ospreay Fletcher in the finals. That's what I'm going with. So that's why he changed the rules, and that's why they are in the same league. Ospreay is going to have a hell of a tournament, and Ricochet is going to be this year's Eddie Kingston. Adam Cole, he's out there. And believe it or not, I moaned and groaned, and I love Adam Cole dearly. I just could not be bothered to care about Adam Cole. He came out. He's out there with Mike Bennett and Matt Taven. Cole said he's so sick and tired of playing this game. He said MJF is a little bitch who won't fight him. He says he's going to beat MJF within an inch of his pathetic life when he gets his hands on him. Out comes Kyle O'Reilly to absolutely zero reaction from Chicago. Can you imagine? I want you guys to teleport yourself back in time to when the Undisputed Era was on WWE TV and they were occupying major arenas across the United States at the height of black and gold. Could you ever imagine the Undisputed Era then? O'Reilly, Fish, Strong, and Cole getting zero reaction. How the mighty have fucking been buried. Unbelievable. It's fucking disgusting, to be quite honest with you. O'Reilly's out there. The conglomeration theme music is fucking terrible. It is so generic and so jobber-like, I just wish to never hear it again. O'Reilly said he wanted to fight MJF. As soon as he called out MJF, Cole interrupted him and said, No, I don't want you to fight your friends' battles. O'Reilly says he wouldn't be doing it for Adam Cole. He would be doing it for Roddy. And Roddy wasn't there because MJF Pillmanized his arm at the pay-per-view. Speaking of MJF, he showed up on the big screen. He was not in attendance tonight. He was at the pay-per-view. He could not be bothered to show up tonight. I don't fucking blame him, to be quite honest with you. He probably went right back to filming some movies. But he was dressed all snazzy, and he was playing piano. He said he thought long and hard about fighting them, and for the last 20 seconds, his answer is going to be no. He says his mind is on something more important. He's probably thinking about Natalia, or what his next glass of wine is going to be. He said next week is the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal. He won't be dealing with them in the foreseeable future. And then he played them out on piano and played his theme music on piano, which is mightily impressive. Cole says he's going to enter that damn Battle Royal. O'Reilly declared he will be in the Battle Royal as well. Great. We got conflict between Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly. But if you ask me, JD, do you care about your old Undisputed Era buddies? I don't give a fuck. The better question is, why are we doing a Battle Royal for a piece of jewelry again? It's as if they didn't learn their lesson. Why are we putting the Dynamite Diamond ring on the line in a battle royal? I don't get it. Like, this has been done in the early years of AEW, and it wasn't good then, and it's not good now. In an AEW where there's so many titles to go around, and we got a tournament happening, you want to put a battle royal together for a fucking diamond ring? Can we just gift MJF the diamond ring and just call it a day? Does he ever lose the diamond ring? In any instance where we got a battle royal or MJF put this diamond ring on the line, has there been any instance that MJF lost this diamond ring in any capacity? It's the lowest of the low. Complete dog shit creative. Don't care about Cole. Cole came out to crickets, by the way. Nobody gives a fuck about the Kingdom. Nobody gives a shit at all about Kyle O'Reilly. MJF and Roddy had a decent match that was suitable for Collision. Said it on Saturday, said it on Tuesday with Solomon, so we're going to say it again. We need to get MJF out of this middle-of-the-road garbage. This guy's the ace of your company. This guy's the biggest heel in the fucking business. He was at one point. I don't even know if you can call him that anymore. Still off doing what he's got to do. Great. Good for him. But when he gets back to a full-time schedule on AEW, this man needs to be at the forefront of major storylines and at the forefront of some real emotional storytelling, because that's what he does best. This shit sucks. I don't believe we are sitting here in 2024. AEW has dropped the ball on Adam Cole. AEW has made us not give a shit about anything MJF is doing. I feel dirty just saying it. I feel like I'm committing a crime just saying those words. Adam Cole, MJF, World's End. Let's get this shit fucking over with and move both of these guys on to completely separate storylines, far, far, far away from each other. Excalibur says they are kicking off the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup qualifying tournament. Oh, man, I can't wait. Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata. Does anybody care? I don't know why this is happening on Dynamite. I don't. Why is this happening on Dynamite? Why isn't this happening on Rampage? Why isn't this happening when we are all watching Survivor Series? Why did this need to take up TV time on Dynamite tonight? When I say zero reaction, zero. Legitimately, nobody in Chicago could be bothered to give a shit. Excalibur runs over the International Women's Cup 4-way taking place at Wrestle Dynasty, as the upcoming match will be one of the semifinals for AEW. Willow Nightingale will go one-on-one with Serena Deeb, and the other semifinal will be taking place on December 7th on Collision. The finals will occur at Winter is Coming, December 12th, with the winner advancing to Wrestle Dynasty and representing AEW in the 4-way. The winner of which will receive a title shot in any of the participating promotions. Ring of Honor will have Athena versus Red Velvet versus Billy Starks versus Layla Hirsch. While CMLL has announced Zeuxius against Sanely versus Persephone versus Reina Isis on December 13th. No word on who the Stardom competitors will be. Who? Even you don't know. I mean, if you don't know, then how the fuck am I supposed to know, man? I don't know. Persephone. Is that a new cellular mobile carrier? Does anybody have Persephone service? I have AT&T. You have Persephone. Okay. Give me a break. Saxophone, Persephone, telephone. Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata. International Women's Cup qualifying match. Oh, man, I'm jumping out of my seat with excitement, man. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Oh my God, we have Wrestle Dynasty!
Fucking shit is awful. Jamie Hayter out there looking like whatever a bargain basement is, below bargain basement version of Becky Lynch. Might as well call her Rebecca Hayter. It's Queen Aminata. Hard-hitting match. Ladies did a decent job out there to wrestle. Hayter's great. Aminata, not emotionally there yet, bro. What did JD give it? What did JD think of this match? I give this match 2 I don't give a shits. Nobody gives a fuck about Queen Aminata. Nobody gives a shit about Jamie Hayter, which is fucking sad. And nobody gives a shit about the fucking CMLL, Ring of Honor, AEW Stardom 4-way that we're getting at Wrestle Dynasty. Nobody gives a fuck about that here. Nobody cares. This is more of a Forbidden Door than Forbidden Door is Forbidden Door. So what the fuck is the need for Forbidden Door? Here, let me run my one and only concept between New Japan and AEW into the fucking ground. So much so that we're doing it twice a year now. Jamie Hayter won. Great. Does she go in advance to Japan? We'll see. At the end of the match, lights went out, spotlight appeared on the stage, and Jesus Christ himself showed up on Dynamite and then realized that he didn't want to, so he was false advertised for Dynamite tonight without making an appearance. Because even he realized that this show is fucking garbage. Julia Hart was supposed to be in the spotlight. Mind games with Jamie Hayter continue, and nothing happened. Man, I can't wait for Julia Hart to ruin Jamie Hayter's tournament chances here against Willow Nightingale. I wonder how that one's going to play out. Renee Paquette. She was backstage with Mina Shirakawa. My favorite parts of the show, bro. Mina was asked about her heartbreak from Mariah May and the Champagne Celebration on Saturday night at Full Gear. Mina said she knew this day would come, as if Mariah could do this to Toni Storm. She could do it to her as well. This is unfortunately the real Mariah May, selfish, who has to kill anyone who gets close to her. If that's the real Mariah, then it's time to introduce her to the real Mina. Mariah May charges from behind and blasts a champagne bottle over Mina's head and beats her down with the women's title before telling her she wants Mina. Then we're told it's Mina versus May in 2 weeks at Winter is Coming. Now, does this lead to a rematch at the pay-per-view, or are we moving on from this after Winter is Coming? Because I figured they'd give us at least some story instead of playing it off in just 2 weeks. Now, they can't be bothered to do more than 2 weeks. They want to end it at Winter is Coming and then do nothing with them at the pay-per-view. Maybe that's where Toni Storm comes and shows her face. There is no pay-per-view in January, and then they got that big Australia show, so we may see the build at World's End start with Toni and Mariah. Mariah has had an awful title run. They've done nothing with Mariah May to make me say, you know what, they did a good job. After Toni, they did a good job. No, they didn't. Mariah is as useless as champion as anyone else before Toni Storm. Complete garbage. Main event. We saw this match once before, as early as Wrestle Dream. This is not the first time that they've wrestled, clearly. This is like the third or fourth time that they've wrestled. And this was, I mean, what do you want me to say about a match that we've seen now 3 or 4 times before this? What exactly do you want me to say? Like, Brody is a monster. He's a stud. Don't know why the House of Black is not further along than they are. And don't know why all 3 of them individually aren't more prominent on television. Darby, after Saturday night and him blasting the vehicle, the Death Riders vehicle on Saturday night with his own rental, we did not get anything in regards to a diagnosis, why, no follow-up, nothing. You want me to take this angle to be your biggest angle. This story is your biggest story, and then that's not the first thing you talk about at the top of the fucking show? Oh, but JD, they did a highlight package with Guns N' Roses. Listen, I don't give a fuck about MTV DJ Tony Khan. I don't care. Remember Matt Pinhead from MTV Headbangers Ball? Well, what does Tony Khan think? He's like a fucking disc jockey for MTV? I don't give a fuck about Guns N' Roses. You make me hate November Rain every time I gotta listen to it in the cringy ways that you use it. By the way, happy birthday to Miles Kennedy. 55 years old. Still the greatest voice in all of rock. Nobody's even close. I get this was a Continental Classic match, but I could not bring myself to care. I don't. I would have rather seen Buddy Matthews in there. I would have loved to see Buddy in there. I don't know why we didn't get it, just for the sake of being different. What the fuck do I know? Darby Allin, he's got his ribs heavily bandaged up, obviously, from the car accident there. Death Riders and the vehicle that was taken out on Saturday night. Darby was really driving it, by the way. It wasn't a stuntman. His knee was also wrapped. Allin offered a handshake to Brody, who almost seemed reluctant to accept it because he knows Darby is a fucking fool. He's banged up. King blocked the kick, backflipped Allin to the mat, running sentons. King was chopping the hell out of Allin, who fell from the top rope to the floor as we go to a commercial break. King was all over Darby here. It was all Brody King. King missed a senton charge into the barricade, letting Allin recover at least momentarily. This is where the feed went out for about 90 seconds, and the fact that we did not have to hear Excalibur and Tony Schiavone on commentary for 90 seconds was a beautiful thing. The thing is, you can tell without the commentary how dead the crowd was. It was more dead than normal. They unfortunately came back, and we got sound again, and we had to hear the unfortunate tones of Tony Schiavone and Excalibur. So Allin wanted a coffin drop. His legs were swept out, tied to the Tree of Woe. Brody hits his corner cannonball for 2. King looked for a superplex, but Allin bit the hands and head of Brody, connecting on an avalanche code red for near fall. King rolled outside, where he was immediately met with a charging Allin dive and a top rope coffin drop. Allin connected on another one, and then he went for another back inside. King caught him in a rear naked choke. Allin rolled through for a 2. Brody was right back into trapping him in the choke. He released the hold and hit the Gonzo bomb for the 1, 2, 3. Brody beats Darby. Darby lost to Claudio, and Darby lost to Brody. How do you expect me or want to see Darby Allin beat Jon Moxley for the World Championship if this guy is being presented as a loser? That's what he is. He's a loser. I don't even know why he's in this fucking thing. Why is he in the Continental Classic? You would think that he's got bigger things to take care of, bigger fish to fry. He's in the fucking Continental Classic mixing it up with fucking Beast Mortos. Who gives a shit? What league is he in? He's not even in the same league as oh, he's in the same league as Claudio. He'll get his win back over Claudio. There you go. There's Claudio's one loss to Darby. He'll beat Juice Robinson, too. Post-match, Brody King left the ring. Claudio showed up. He was the only one from the Death Rouse that showed up. He was wielding a steel chair. King returned when he saw Claudio advance. They had to stare down because that's next week's match. We got Claudio versus Brody King next week on Dynamite. Oh, man. That's the way they went off the air. They got no major storylines happening to end this show, and they go off the air with Brody King and Claudio in a Continental Classic match. Oh, man, I can't wait. No real storylines were forwarded here at all, except for Jon Moxley, Adam Page, and Jay White. Gold League. Claudio's got 3 points. Brody's got 3 points. Ricochet has 0, and Darby has 0. Blue League. Shelton Benjamin has 3 points, and Mark Brisco has 0 points. Will Ospreay, Juice Robinson have yet to wrestle. Okada, Beast Mortos, Kyle Fletcher, and Danny Garcia have yet to wrestle. Collision. 4 p.m. start time because they don't want the smoke from Survivor Series. Kazuchika Okada and Danny Garcia in a Continental Classic Blue League match. Will Ospreay versus Juice Robinson in a Continental Classic Gold League match. Kyle Fletcher versus the Beast Mortos. Continental Classic Blue League match. And Adam Page versus Wheeler Useless. Rampage. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness, man. Beast Mortos is wrestling twice in the same fucking night. It's Lucha Libre. Rampage. Thunder Rosa versus Harley Graham. And we got, that's Harley Cameron in a hologram mask, by the way. And Hechicero versus Commander. Beast Mortos versus Serpentico. And we got Katsuyori Shibata, Atlantis Jr., and Mascara Dorada versus Top Flight and Action Andretti. Yeah, toll the fucking bell, bro. Rampage is dead. Jesus fucking Christ, man. This show is as lifeless as anything I've seen all year. It's sad. Follow me on social media, guys, at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for notifications. Make sure you guys go check out all the content on the channel. There's plenty of it. We uploaded a Ricky Starks, Tony Khan, Chris Van Vliet, GCW drama-filled video today. 50 minutes of off the script extra. Go and check that out. And everything else you might have missed. Solid Monster and I went almost 4 hours. In fact, we did go 4 hours last night with TNT episode 74. One of our best shows to date. Go and check it out. It's already at 40,000 views. You guys love TNT, and we're going to continue to give you TNT, the best fucking duo show in the entire space, man. Nobody looks and sounds as good as we do. And make sure you guys hit that thumbs up, man. We hit the goal of 750. Let's try for 800. Super chats are open. Get them on in. We're going to hang out in just a second. But quick word from our sponsors tonight, man. I want to shout out my friends over at Turtle Beach. Tonight's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach. TurtleBeach.com/script. Go and get your brand new gaming headset and feel like a VIP with Turtle Beach right here on Off the Script. Do you guys remember when you got your very first headset, especially on Christmas morning, man, opening that box and seeing that beautiful headset all wrapped up nice and pretty underneath the tree? So excited to unbox it and jump onto Call of Duty. I know I do, man. My life was changed forever when I got my very first gaming headset. I thought I was king of the world. I could hear everything around me, different than what I was used to playing on. It was amazing. And that is what I'm experiencing right now in this particular gameplay that you're watching me play on Black Ops 6 on Skyline. I'm wearing the new Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset, man. And let me tell you something, this thing is a monster. Whether it's for the gamer in your life or for you to relive those holiday gaming marathons this holiday season, Turtle Beach has the cheat code for the best gift of the year. And right now, it's their biggest sale of the year. Now through Cyber Monday, you can save on their most popular products. Just head to turtlebeach.com and tell them that we sent you. Don't wait. Head over to turtlebeach.com and grab your Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset and give the gift of Turtle Beach this holiday season and have that feeling on Christmas morning all over again. Now, as you guys see me navigate the map, man, I'm a Call of Duty pro. I know what I'm doing, and I hear everything around me, man. This headset is beautiful. You feel it in your hands. It is quality, man. It's the one thing I personally look for in a headset, man. It's quality. And this is so well put together. I hear everything around me. You guys see that I am strategically playing the map, working my kill streaks. I know which direction the enemy's coming in. I know everything that's going on around me so I can plan my next attack with my shotgun, man. I love my trusty shotgun. And just a few of the extra perks that I like about the Turtle Beach headset. We all have that friend whose headset always seems to die right before you're going into a Destiny 2 raid, or you are playing Search and Destroy on Call of Duty, and it's right down to the wire. Turtle Beach's Stealth 700 headset has an insane, and I mean legitimately insane, 80-hour battery life with quick charge, so you rarely have to think about charging it. The Stealth 700 also is the industry's first ever cross-play dual wireless transmitter system. That means you can seamlessly switch between your consoles and PC with just a click of a button. And it gets even better. While even being connected to your console, the Stealth 700 can connect to your phone for music streaming or taking phone calls at the same time. Listen to your favorite songs while gaming. Listen to your favorite podcasts. This one while gaming. All done with the Stealth 700. And Turtle Beach just doesn't have amazing headsets. They have every gaming accessory you could ever want, and they're all high quality at prices that don't break the bank. From flight and racing simulators to controllers, keyboards, and mice, Turtle Beach is the ultimate gaming cheat code. So get the ultimate gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com and use that code SCRIPT. Once again, turtlebeach.com. Use that code SCRIPT to get access to their site-wide holiday sale. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them, and you guys can mention JD from NY right here on Off the Script. So please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Save big and don't delay. Happy holidays from Turtle Beach. Turtle Beach, man, go get yourself a brand new headset this Black Friday. Biggest sale of the year, turtlebeach.com/script. Start with your super chats, guys. Mr. Noob with a $5 super chat. Jericho match was a preview of my drunk uncles fighting over Trump tomorrow night. Should be interesting. Happy Thanksgiving, OTS. You know, that is a very, very descriptive scenario, Mr. Noob. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Ian, thank you for the $100 super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Michelle Moran with a $5 super chat. Word to TK. If Darby is beating Mox, he needs to be built up and not jobbed out. But cool to see Brody defend Darby. Would love a Darby House of Black alliance. That may be exactly what Darby needs. Maybe it's Darby and House of Black versus the Death Riders? I have no idea. Tony Brown with a 10 in Super Chat. He says, I must admit, I enjoy the vanilla versus chocolate cake meat battle, a.k.a. Hater versus Queen. And Darby will in the old cripple wrestler's home, will end in the old cripple home when he's 50. Yeah, he is something else, huh? He is crazy. The shit that he does, man, crazy. Michael Krause with 11 months. Thank you, brother. Thank you for being a part of the family. Good Wednesday, JD and Jesse and OTS family. I hope all is well with everyone, and I hope you have a great Thanksgiving. Keep up the great work, my friends. Thank you, Michael. You have a happy and healthy Thanksgiving as well, brother. Michael Evans with a 29 months. Happy Thanksgiving. Ace and JD. Jesse, 29 months well spent. Happy Thanksgiving. Hope everyone in the OTS family has a safe and happy Thanksgiving. Can't wait for War Games. Absolutely. Absolutely. Excited about War Games. Andy versus Romney with a $9.99. Hey, JD, I don't watch Dynamite anymore and just stick to your review and Solid Monsters. Ever since Britt Baker told the camera and us, the viewers, that nobody cares, has she even appeared on Dynamite? No. No, she hasn't. It's a good point. How come she's not wrestling Serena Deeb in the tournament? Cody Snyder with a $5 super chat. Man, Wrestle Cringe can kiss our balls. I've been drinking tonight. I don't care to say it. Cheers, Chief. One of the worst accounts on social media, bro. Guy was actively calling for AEW to pull a certain talent from a House of Glory show because I am a part of House of Glory. JD derangement syndrome is a real thing, folks. It's a real disease. It happens on social media, and it even happens in the AEW locker room. Terry's Odyssey with a $10 super chat. No message. Terry's Odyssey. Happy Thanksgiving, brother. Nisha with a $4.99. The sickos are the worst fans ever. Told me to unalive myself because I said TK has bad creative. OTS family is 10 out of 10. Show was poor. Happy Thanksgiving, JD. Nisha, don't mind them. They have absolutely nothing in life to live for but AEW. Zero. They have no wife, no girlfriends, no hobbies, nothing that makes themselves happy and healthy. Nothing. And nothing but AEW. Sidro! $2 super chat. He says, Sun Corpse Stadium. Because there'll be no pulse. Yes. It's not even, you're not even intending to be funny with that. It's just very truthful. Hollywood guy with a $5 super chat. JD, when was the point that AEW went downhill? Was it the Punk incident or something else? Oh, and JD, have a happy Thanksgiving, bro. It was the moment Cody Rhodes and Brandy Rhodes walked out of AEW. Because Tony wanted ultimate power. And he didn't want Cody to have any of it. It was all his show. Cody said, all right, goodbye. I wish you your best in your future endeavors. I'm going to go win the WWE title. And it's never been the same since. Punk was only the... Cody was the lowering of the casket. Actually, no. Cody was the casket closing. Punk leaving was lowering of the casket. Them showing the all-in footage with fucking Jungle Boy and CM Punk was only them pouring dirt on the casket and actually covering the grave. Andy versus Romney, or Andy v. Romney with a $4.99. I'll be real, JD. I believe Tiny's ego would rather let AEW die than pass off 100% creative to somebody else, even if for a bit. AEW is his vanity project. Yes. Gee, Andy, I wonder who that sounds like. Johnny Boy Vaccaro, the $20 Super Chat. JD, I gave it a look tonight, and I'm lost. Tony, please release Jay White, Swerve Strickland, Ricky Starks, Lucha Bros, Thunder Rosa, Deanna, and House of Black. Give them life beyond with a promising career instead of overpriced toy chest stock. It's a lot of roster there, bro. Tony's not going to release anybody. If nobody else can have them, Tony has the power to do so, to not let anybody else play with his toys. He's going to do that. El Mase with a $10 super chat. A cop came up to me with a sniffer dog and said, this dog tells me you are on drugs. I responded, I'm on drugs. You're the one talking to dogs, officer. I think we need to keep the comedy shtick to Sidro. Thank you, Almase. Appreciate you, brother. Ben Callanan with a 8 months. Hey, JD, I hope you are well. I can't wait for War Games this weekend, especially to see my guy CM Punk back in action. Happy Thanksgiving to the OTS family. Thank you, brother. I'm excited as well. Johnny Boy Vaccaro, the $5 super chat. You are stupid or are you dumb? Hello, AEW Creative. The words mean the same shit. Camille should have F5 her like Lesnar to build a one-arm killer beast. It's almost as if Camille was talking about AEW Creative. Are you stupid or are you dumb? I didn't know one was worse than the other. Shut the fuck up, hippie, with a $4.99. Want to thank you, JD, for entertaining me since 2017, and most of all, showing us Masterpiece Red Skies. Forever grateful. Tuesday night is the best podcast. It is. It is. I hope Jason feels the same thing. Hope he feels the same way. Well, obviously, he's not better than what we do individually, but in the space, two-man group, yes. Scripps with a $10 super chat. Hey, JD, I turned this crap off after I saw Chris Jericho and Tomohiro Ishii slapping each other for half the match. That show was awful. Your podcast is awesome. OTS for life. Thank you, Scripps. I wouldn't be surprised if half the fucking world watching this show turned it off at Jericho and Ishii never came back. Wasn't there a football game tonight or something like that? No? Was everybody out drinking? What's tonight? Tonight's one of the biggest college nights of the year to go out and drink. Johnny Boy with a 20. Johnny Boy Vaccaro with a $20 super chat. Two champions are in blue, where the current champion should be in a gold tier. Personally, Okada and Garcia should be out. It is like them being in a Rumble or Elimination Chamber to fight for the championship title. Well, Okada is the champion, and the whole tournament is based on him being the champion. So he has to be in the tournament. Danny Garcia is another story. I don't think Danny Garcia needed to be in the tournament because where's the international champion? Why did Danny Garcia just throw his name into the tournament, but Takeshita could not? I don't understand it. Mix Master Mike with a $5 super chat. I lost interest in AEW, but decided to check in and see what was going on. Your rant on Jericho and Ishii made me LOL. You deserve this super, brother. Thank you, Mix Master Mike. Appreciate you, man. Triple M with a $10 super chat. Sounds like the Jericho match got that Cena versus Orton at 2014 Rumble reaction. I'm glad I do not watch AEW. Anyways, happy Thanksgiving, JD and OTS family, and spend wisely for Black Friday, fam. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I actually need. I don't think I need anything, so I might not spend any money this year. I don't know. Johnny Boy Vaccaro, the $2 super chat. By the way, thank you, Triple M. Tony Khan loves Tekken-named Japanese wrestlers. Good for him. I don't care. Happy Thanksgiving, brother and OTS fam. Love y'all. Also, I'm pumped for War Games and to see where this Punk and Reigns story goes with Heyman. RJ with a $5 super chat. Thank you, RJ. I am super excited to see Punk's inclusion in War Games as well. Sinister. I'm sorry to hear that, brother. I am very sorry to hear that, man. You are speaking to the one guy that knows exactly how that feels after this year, bro. It gets a little easier, man. It never gets completely easy. Because I dip back into the thought process of looking for her. And she's not here. But I wish you the best, man. It'll get better. Furious Nation with a $9.99. Happy Thanksgiving, JD, and as well to the OTS family. Which Thanksgiving food, in your opinion, JD, is the best? Looking forward to the Bloodline and War Games. And I think we see Rock at Survivor Series. I think we see The Rock as well. My favorite are the sides. I'm a big stuffing and mashed potato guy. And I loved candied yams. I'm a big side dish guy. If I didn't have any turkey on Thanksgiving, I would be completely fine. Give me a nice Mad Elf or a pumpkin beer. Southern Tier Pumpkin, preferably, or a Mad Elf from Trogs. Good to go. Vincent O'Connell with 5 in Super Chat. Is Shane still coming in? I don't really give a shit. I don't care. Don't know, don't care. I don't think so. Sleep Gang with a $5 Super Chat. Glad the C2 is back and kicked off well. Also, the recap for Full Gear was fantastic and needs to be a weekly thing to keep people up to date with stories. Continental Classic's only going to get better. Dull crowd equals a dull show. Jokerface, $1.99 with a question. JD, your top 5 favorite rock bands. Alter Bridge, Symphony X, Trivium, Old School Sepultura, meaning Beneath the Remains, Schizophrenia, and Arise, Sepultura. And Testament. Classic Testament, man. Chuck Billy Testament, man. New Order. Practice What You Preach. The Legacy. The Gathering. Formation of Damnation. All bangers. Brendan Watson with a $1.99. Happy Thanksgiving, JD. Hope you are having a great one. Thank you, Brendan. Appreciate you, bro. And Kratos with 49 months. Happy Thanksgiving, JD. Didn't watch tonight, but I prefer to watch your reviews over the shows these days. Have a good night, sir. Brother, thank you very much, man. Appreciate you. Guys, thank you for a great stream, man. We are about to get out of here. I'm about to hop on some Destiny, man. I got some Grandmaster Nightfalls awaiting me. It's not a fun thing, man. These Grandmaster Nightfalls on Destiny are very tough. I don't know what they did to them. Anyway, thank you guys very much, man. Appreciate you all. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Be well, stay safe. Don't overeat. Always enjoy seeing what type of cold beverages you guys got tomorrow, man. So tweet me your cold beverages. I'm sure I'll do the same. Follow me on social media at JD from NY206, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Cameo. Hit that subscribe button down below. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Go check out all the content, man, on the channel. We were live on Monday, Tuesday. We were live tonight. We got an extra up. I might be having more content tomorrow for you guys as well before we get to Survivor Series, and then you'll see me live again Friday night for SmackDown, and then Saturday night, the big one. We close out November with Survivor Series. Can't wait. It's going to be a big night. So go check all the content on the channel, man. Plenty of it. And please, go check out Turtle Beach, man. Get yourself a beautiful headset this holiday season. Black Friday on Friday. TurtleBeach.com/scripts. And I will see you guys right back here with more on Off the Script. We'll see you guys later.